Janet Humphreys on television out in at Glasnevin, and she wouldn't even lay a wreath on James Stephens or John O'Mahony's grave. I think that is a desecration. We have to stop that being desecrating what those people did, our tricolour, our proclamation and our sovereign constitution. You are the sovereign, and you should stand up and be treated as sovereigns, and we should have a proper sovereign government that we had on the 21st of January 1919. It's still there, it's never been dissolved. And what are they talking about? This provisional government that they can't decide on. And I think we're not a political party in the Irish Republican Brotherhood, but we hold the mandate of the 1918 32 county election. Sinn Féin was the political wing of the Irish Republican Brotherhood. They won the 1918 32 county election. And Óglaigh na hÉireann is the military wing of the Irish Republic. They won the War of Independence. And that all happened there at Vaughan's Hotel, which we came down from this morning. And I think it's very important that you're told the proper truth. And I see that the tricolour has been delivered to every school and the proclamation. And yet none of those children are told anything about their sovereignty. What's the sovereign seal, which is over the door there. The Book of Psalms is the Psalter, and that's the Psalter, the instrument that accompanies the Psalms. It's Anno Domini 2016, and I think there's people today who gave their lives who are delighted to see it, and to see we have a wonderful country. All we need is that sovereign government that was voted for by the will of all the people of the 1918 32 county election. And I would say thank you very much, and we'll raise our tricolour at 12 noon, which is flying today there since then. It was never captured. The tricolour was taken down by Diarmaid Lynch, and was taken up. You know what happened. You can't understand 1916 if you don't understand that when Sir Edward Carson founded the Ulster Volunteers in 1912, and in 1913 they became the UVF Army. And what happened was that they bought the top-class German guns, and they became the UVF Army. And Guinness's Lord Rothschild and Rupert Kipling paid. Guinness's gave 100,000, Lord Rothschild gave 100,000, and Rupert Kipling gave 50,000 to buy those guns. And the Crown of England did not object to that. And yet, when Sir Roger Casement bought the guns here, he was executed, he was hanged for doing the very same thing that Guinness's and Lord Rothschild and Rupert Kipling did. You know, there's a big discrepancy of how we're treated. And the British government, in 1913, the intelligence officers of the Irish Republican Brotherhood reported to the Supreme Council of what happened. And they found that the Irish Volunteers and the Irish Citizens Army as a defence force. We don't have an army, we have a defence force. And we have them, and in 1914, the UVF Army declared war on Britain and Ireland if Home Rule was imposed by the British government. And I think it's very important that you understand that we do not go to war with anybody. And I told you that tricolour flag here in 1916 was taken down and was brought up. They went up, that was the escape plan. It was up Moore Street and down those tunnels, which are there on the rotunda. You can see them from here. And I must thank Darcy for opening those tunnels. After 53 years, we finally can see them. And that was the escape plan. If we could get across the road, they would have got down those plans and they would have escaped to all the safe houses. And it's very important to know those two events in 1916. You can't understand. But we don't want to go to war with anybody. Always the Irish Republican Brotherhood is always the right and welfare of the sovereign citizens, and that's you. And all the assets of the state should be yours and for your children. And your children are sovereign citizens here. And we're very proud of that. We're very proud of those people who make it happen. And I think the world today needs the Irish Republican Brotherhood and their proclamation and their sovereign constitution. People are sovereign, and they should be looked after. And we should be properly governed. And I think we will be properly governed with that sovereign government. Nobody has dissolved that government. And if anybody stand up and tell me that government, by the will of all the people in the 1918 32 county election, we go to the National House every year on the 21st of January. We hold that, and we turn the sovereign seals for that. And I think it's a wonderful achievement by those volunteers and citizens on and coming along and the field and meeting the what they did for us, and I don't think we appreciate it today because we're not told to do it. And I thank you very much, and we have our raising of the tricolour at 12 noon. Thank you indeed.
A lot of history that people don't know. That's helpful. No, that was very good.